Take 5. It's lunchtime. Excuse me, lunch and learn. Woohoo! Time to take 5. Mindset. It's a good way to start a Monday. It's hot in here. Let's take mindset. I have a fan, but it's really loud. So I didn't want it to sound like, that's how it sounds. Just like that. Okay, I'm just going to dive in. There's no one here yet, so there's someone. But most people watch this on the replay, and it's hard to get used to that. There's my partner. There's Doug. It's hard to get used to that. So if you ever do these, you have it. Here's the 3 things. I haven't done that joke for a while. Here's the 3 things, my lord. Hi, Michelle. That you want to constantly do. One is you want to wait for people. The other thing is you want to go, hi, Michelle. Hi, Doug. You just want to talk to people. And then the other thing you want to do is, can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like so hard not to just constantly go, can you hear me? So if you ever do this, hi, Tom. People are arriving. Yay. So happy Monday. So we had a workshop on Saturday that was fabulous. It was really fun. Really good one. I'm really just people asking lots of questions and telling us their favorite movies, and it was fun. It was really fun. We did have a good weekend, and then we hung out for a little while afterwards, just plotting and planning. That's all we do. Good job, Doug. I didn't even have to say it. He's got this down. So we do these Facebook Lives in Hollywood Gatekeepers so that you guys can share them, because you can't share out of a group. And then we put it into the group. And then we are going to, sorry, it's so hot in here. It'd be like, that's a whole thing of self being like, it's a speech when you take communication, like people that are nervous. That's an acting thing too. Like if you want to play nervous. Okay, I'm going to stop. That is, I'm always a little bit nervous on things, but that's not what that is. I just like to screw around. Scruffles made a non-scheduled appearance, I have to say. She's being a diva. I don't know if she's sleeping, but she did. She was, Doug woke her up. She was like, what? Yeah, she did. It was really fun. So we had it was a great way to spend a Saturday. So, and then, I watched, okay, full disclosure, I watched Dude, Where's My Car? I did. I'd never seen that. And it made me think, and I was going to look it up and I haven't yet. Like, I'm not sure who wrote The Hangover, but if they were just sitting around trying to think, what should I write my screenplay about for The Hangover? And then Dude, Where's My Car came on. And they were like, oh, that's a great concept. I think I'll do that a little better. Although I thought it was really funny and I laughed out loud when the guy gets hit in the head by the ostrich. I'm such a sucker for slapstick. But anywho, I have to always remember to scroll here. That's, well then, Peggy, you will fit right in. Today's about mindset. So we'll download our mind into yours. So anyway, yeah. So we have fun in our group, and we have new people, and so enrollment is open. We are taking on new students right now, so that's why we're kind of doing this a little bit more, so people can kind of get to know us. We are growing, and our mailing list is growing like 400 people a day. I'm not joking, 350 to 400 people a day. So there's so many new people coming on that we decided to do these Take 5, so you can sort of get to know us and decide if you want to be part of this crazy journey. And so enrollment is open, so new students are coming in, and so it's been a bit of a flurry inside the group, and really fun and really cool. So our next workshop is Saturday, and those are freebies, and they run about an hour, and they are packed full of punch. So we give you basically the tools that you need to get started doing this, and we tell you what it is you need to know. We can't go through every little thing and like explain everything, but we tell you what those things are at least, so you can kind of get started. So, and then we have many ways that you can learn all those things. One is to stay here, because we do these weekly trainings pretty much, all the time. It's Wednesday. I can't go anywhere. We do them on Wednesdays typically. We do them based on we do these mastermind sessions, is what we call them, in the group as well in the course. And so we try to schedule them back to back just to make it easier for us. So once we have all of our new enrollees signed up and figured out, then we'll decide what the time and days that works for them. And then we schedule this around that, and then we do them weekly. Did you follow that? You didn't need to know any of that. So, but that's the deal. So then you can learn what you need to know in here, kind of bits and pieces, or you can take the course and learn in there. So Just lots of ways to do it. We have the mailing list. If you're not in the Facebook group, you need to get in there. There's like, that's really fun too. We ask people. So now we asked on Friday, what movies were they going to see? And now we'll ask today, what movies did people see? I'm curious to know, like, what's good out there. So yeah, it's fun, super fun. Dude, I just joined. All right. So anywho, so I have 5 questions today, and they, as you join the mailing list, and you'll get emails about, articles and things all year long about reading stuff. And then anytime we have kind of new stuff pop up, we throw it in there so you can learn from that. And then we also have the Facebook group where we teach in there. So definitely when you join those 2 things, you can leave a question. So that's where I'm getting these questions. And then I was just kind of doing random, but now I'm trying to group them sort of into themes. I think it makes it a little bit easier in that way too. We're just getting so organized. We can title these, and then you can search them in the group so that if there's something in particular that you want to learn, you can find it that way. So we will be organizing that in the Facebook group. I'll get right on that. That's a big job. So yeah, so anywho. So Michael's going to help us with that. If you haven't met Michael, he's in the Facebook group. Say hello. He's the one that's been welcoming you. He's awesome. He's been helping us out, welcoming everybody. He's our gatekeeper of our gatekeepers. It's pretty awesome. So say hello to him when you get a shot, when you get a chance. So our first question today, says the talk show host. I don't know. Oh my. Instead of scrolling, it got big. Sorry. Cheyenne. I know a Cheyenne, and she spells it the same way, which is S-H-Y. I didn't know you could spell it that way. Anywho, will my opinions matter? That's her question. And this is a really good question. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice, I think, from doing all this yammering. You're like, please, lose your voice. Will my opinions matter? That's a good one. And one of the things we're really passionate about, and I'm probably going to be a little tangent-y today because it's mindset. And that's my favorite topic. We try to teach things that will also be, I want to say teach. We try to share things better way because because we're not teaching you. We're just sharing kind of what we know, and then you can share what you know, and it's give and take. But anywho, is the mindset of doing this job. We feel like it's an entrepreneurial thing. You're setting up your own business. You are typically freelance. Even if you're working 9 to 5 for someone, you get offered projects and things all the time. So it does become you're juggling a lot typically. So we want to share some tips and tricks, pitfalls and sidetracks. We call them all those things to try and help you deal with that stuff. We think all of these things that we talk about in terms of being a reader and that thing will also help you no matter what you're doing. So, be a joiner. So will my opinions matter? Yeah, yes and no. But the thing that you want to think about when you're reading scripts is not to care if your opinions matter. And it's kind of a twofold thing. So what you want to do is give good, thoughtful, insightful, strong, well-written, succinct. You want coverage that just knocks it out of the park to where it's very clear that you're passionate about what you're doing, that you're supporting that writer, that you're giving good constructive criticism, that you're a team player, that all of these things come across. That's what will matter. So your opinion, if the more that you can present that, the more people are going to take your opinion. And they might not. This business is so subjective that if you get hung up on whether or not your opinions matter and whether or not they're going to take your advice about the screenplay, you could pour your heart and soul. You could be really passionate. They need to do this. And they might go, yeah, but our star doesn't want to do that. So we're going to do this. And you can do that, and they can make another choice and the movie can tank, and you can go, well, they shouldn't have listened to me. That can happen. Or you could say we want to do this, and then they go, no, I think we're going to go this way, and it goes, and you go, ooh, good thing they didn't take my advice. So your opinions, like, to let that go. And I think that's true kind of in life, is not to worry so much about whether your opinions matter, but to worry, don't worry at all, but to focus on just giving the most honest, straightforward, thoughtful, uplifting opinions that you can give. And by uplifting, I don't mean you blow smoke. I don't mean that you, like, if you know what that means. I don't know if, I don't mean that you just, you're a people pleaser. I think it's that you give your honest opinion, but you do it in a way that's always very respectful and very, by uplifting, which means more supportive. So that's what to focus on so much. Yeah, Peggy will give her opinion to you. That we know. And she's really straightforward about it. But you also, as much as she jokes around, Peggy, and as much as she's like has I want to say snarky, but I don't want to use that word because we use it in a negative way, because it's not negative when she does it. She gives her opinion, and there's this sense of respect and love underneath her sarcasm. It's some people, that's how they communicate, and it's perfectly good and fine and awesome, and I actually really appreciate it. So it's, and that's a great example. I really appreciate her honesty in the way that she like jumps on things, and she's a problem solver and that kind of thing. So she's one of our screen readers, obviously. So, and when I say that, screen readers are people that are enrolled in the course, and gatekeepers are people that are learning this way and aren't enrolled in the course. They're both, we have Mama loves all her children. So stupid. But that's what Paul Haggis said about his scripts. We asked him, which script have you written that you like the most? And he said, oh, Daddy loves all his babies. It was so awesome. He's so great. So anywho, so that's kind of, this might be a long Facebook Live. I better get on it. But that's basically a mindset question, is more about not worrying about whether or not people take your opinion, as it is. Yeah, exactly. So not be attached to anything you advise. Exactly, Sheree. Sheree's so good at rephrasing things in a nice way. And so she's a screen reader though. So yeah, being able to say things in a nice way, but still be very honest. And if someone says, did you like it? Be able to say, no, I didn't, but here's some great things about it, whatever, Okay, I need to breathe and sleep and drink water. Okay, anywho, that's a self-care day. We'll do another day. Amanda, is this an overwhelming job? Another great question. Yes, it can be very overwhelming from all the things I just talked about. So if you find that you're, people pleasing too much and doing too much, you have to be able to set your boundaries. You have to be able to say, no, I can't read 10 scripts in the next 15 minutes. So again, these things fall back onto you. It's overwhelming if you allow it to be overwhelming. You have to be able to, like in any job, really, I worked for a little while. Well, I'm not going to go down that path. So anyway, any job can be overwhelming to where if you're, and I call it helium hand, if you're like, I got it. I literally sometimes in meetings will sit on my hands to prevent myself from being, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. And I think the screen readers are learning about us too, is that we come up with a ton of ideas and we want to go, let's do that. And so we tend to go, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then everybody's like, well, when's that happening? And so it's like, oh, wait, we need to get things kind of sussed out. So, and that can get overwhelming if you constantly say, I'm going to do this, and you're raising your hand, you overwhelm yourself. And believe, case in point, I'm a great example of that, because I'm a little enthusiastic. I get excited, and then I want to do a lot of things. And so I can overwhelm myself sometimes. And luckily I have a partner that goes, slow down, Tiger, slow down. Whoa. So I think that helps, to some degree, and you surround yourself with people that will help keep you on track that way as well. That's so true, Peggy. That's super true. The opinion you give will still influence the decision in a way, whether they take it or not, right? They're still hearing all it. And sometimes, as someone who gets opinions, you want to take those opinions and kind of suss with them and then decide whether or not they work for you. Just like everything we're telling you right now. If it works for you, great. And we hope that it works for you. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. But it will sink in on some level for sure. Definitely. And Paul Haggis, I don't need to keep harping. It's weird how he did a fairly short interview, but man, it was packed full of punch, because he tells a story. And if you look on our page, you see that picture of the cup that we sent him, of people telling him that's a great script, Paul, but it'll never sell. And so he went on, he didn't listen to that. Well, he listened to that opinion. So he went off and wrote another script. And then the person, he wrote $1 Million Baby, they said that. And then he wrote Crash, and they said that again. And so then he was like, oh, well, okay, I'm just going to do this anyway. So the cool thing about that was the first opinion sparked Crash. Hello. And then the second opinion was like, oh, this is you, not me. I'm going to do these anyway. So it was really interesting, right? But it did influence him in a couple different ways. So you could get, and he could easily have gotten overwhelmed. Clearly, the man handles quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, because there's another story I was about to tell, but I'm not going to go down there. So, but it can be overwhelming, just like any job. I mean, if you volunteer at your work all the time, you end up doing all the work that your coworkers won't do. If you're that guy, then you can overwhelm yourself. So again, this is about what you put into it, you get back out of it. And that's kind of one of the mindset themes of the day, because I think that's true just in general in life. So Philip asks, how long does it take to read a script on average? And that might not seem like a mindset question, but it is. Because Philip, I'll know. I don't know. I can tell you how long it takes me to read a script on average, but there is no one answer to that. And even though you're asking on average, yeah, that's because there's so many factors that have to do with that. So, and again, this is another question where you control your outcomes. So if you have, I mean, I can get through a script in 20 minutes, depending on the script and depending on my mood and how much sleep I've had and whatever. Like I can get, and it's usually less than an hour for me for sure. But some people take hours and hours to read a script because they're just slow readers. Some scripts are harder to read than others. If a script is primarily dialogue, it's a lot easier to read. And there are ways some people only read dialogue because of that. I don't believe in that. I'm a huge, that is in my book. Someone took the time to write the script. You need to read it. So, but also you can control it. So let's say typically you get scripts in batches. And so what was that accent? You get scripts in batches. So you can get scripts in batches, and then you I have a friend who's in London right now, and she calls me and she's just like me. If you looked at those London things, Doug was here, I actually played it for him. Because if you look at the London ones, when I can't help myself, I start using an accent. She did that too on the anyway. You get scripts in batches, and so you can kind of determine, okay, I've got this much time I can read today. So I'm going to scroll through them, and if you print them, you thumb through them. If you're online, you scroll through them, and you're going to look for the ones that have less, words, basically, that have mostly dialogue, and you read those if you're crunched for time. When you can kind of leisurely read, you read the ones that are more dense. That's, you can kind of control that intake to some degree, but it's such an individual question, and it has so much, I do, in fact, do it all. It does have so much to do often, and I'm serious that it does have to do with how much sleep you've had and what kind of mood you're in. And, I actually try, before I read anyone's work, I try to make sure that I'm in the best mood possible, because I don't want my cranky mood to reflect on how I respond to their screenplay. So it is like all of that affects it. It can really slow you down. If you're having a hard time concentrating, if you're falling asleep, I mean, that's my thing is, well, one, I don't get enough sleep, but also if I get overwhelmed, I get sleepy, immediately, really, don't argue with me. I'm not good in an argument. That's it. I'm out. So it is that is, that is something that you can control, and it really, really does become a mindset game. Well, I'm glad you're back, Shri. Yep. Hi, Danny. Yep. Oh, there we go. Yes, Facebook is glitchy at times, just like life. It's a glitchy life. I was on Facebook for hours yesterday, but I was in the back end, figuring out a lot of stuff anyway, which is another thing that we also try to teach is that we want you to be able to have your own consulting business or your own entrepreneur business. And so we will do trainings on how to run Facebook ads and how to do all that as well. So that's another day. Number 4, excuse me. Katie, is reading scripts competitive between readers, or is it more supportive? Love this. Love this. It's interesting. It can't be really competitive. But in general, I mean, the best friends that I have, I met Doug reading scripts. The best friends that I have, other than the ones I have from my dancing days and my childhood, were from reading. It's a great, I call them extroverted introverts. It's just the greatest, hi Sam. It's the greatest group of I want to say just normal people, especially in the reading world, because they have a love of movies, but they're not, usually they don't want to be in front of the camera. So they have this they're a little bit more shy, and they're a little bit more I don't have even a hint of a Me Too story in the reading world. I have it in other areas, but not in reading. It's just that people are nice in general. But again, this is the same thing. If you're competitive and then that's going to come back at you. Then people are going to want to be that way with you. If you're generous, people are generous. So this is another mindset issue. And we really feel and you hear me harp on this kindergarten stuff all the time. This is a huge part of who we are, is that We want to be nice. This is fun. We want this to be a fun little corner of the world. There's so much angry noise right now. And, and I don't mean that you should shut things out and not be aware. Yes, you give a hand to people. You be aware of what's going on around you. Vote. Like, get things matter. Make things matter. People matter. Like, definitely be involved in things. But your little corner that you can control your little corner and be nice and be supportive. And if you are that way, then you won't be reaching, you won't be seeing that competitive thing. And the thing that Doug and I are seeing, we're taking all kinds of courses about how to start an online business and that kind of stuff, so that we can just like we are behind the scenes thrivers. Brenda's a new screen reader. Welcome. Yay. We are like always trying to take and learn. I love learning. Like, I'm a huge sponge. I love hearing other people's opinions and thoughts. And so we're trying to take all that stuff and just pour it right out to you. Like, pick the things that really apply to this and pour it into you. And one of the things I've noticed, and I noticed this I've noticed it in everything, like, because I spent a lot of time dancing. And so I would go to auditions, and I did a lot of Civic Light Opera and Disney World and, theme parks, and I did a lot of dancing. And it got, after a while, when you start going to auditions, it's the same 20, 30 people at every audition. There's thousands of people, but there's that same 20 are always the ones that are hustling and working. Like, it was the same people you'd see. Oh, hi again. I got to know people from seeing them at auditions, right? And then I moved into the reading world. And then in the reading world, within a couple of years, I'd show up at a job. Oh, hi. Someone that I met somewhere else. Producers too. I'd be at one company, Village Roadshow, enormous company, right? And then I'd go to a different company, and one of those, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, well, I'm going to do a project over here. Like, it was amazing. Like, wow, it's the same 20% of people everywhere I go. Now we're in this world. Oh, and then I wanted to give back, started serving on nonprofit boards and doing fundraising, and actually got a job as a fundraiser for a while, and kind of working in that field. Same thing. I'd join a new board thinking, oh, I'm going to meet new people. Oh, well, hey there. What are you doing here? Same 20% of people in the community out there making a difference. And now we are seeing it again as we're moving into this world where people are making millions of dollars doing these businesses. And it's the same 20, 30 people. And it's like, okay, I don't know if you've heard of the Pareto principle, but it's basically that 20% of the work results in 80% of the results. And even in nature, you see it like 20% of the bees do 80% of the work. Like, there's a 20, it seems to be everywhere where 20%. This is true. People enroll in this course. The ones that are active, about 20%. In this big Facebook group, about 20% are like reading the emails, answering, taking the workshops. It is amazing. It really kind of blows my mind that it's such a solid, it kind of gives and takes a little, but that's what you'll find. Like, everywhere, which leads me to the final question. So it can be competitive, but it is what you make of it. And it's actually, I have found, way more supportive than competitive, which is the final question. What does it take to make it as a profession in this? Which is the same thing it takes to me to make it in anything. I'm going to fall off my chair. Someday I'm going to get a chair, I swear. I did get a new chair. I got a stool because I thought that would be better. And now... Well, and I need to exercise and lose weight because it's like, I can't hold you. I don't know if you can see. It's like, you can see it in the videos. If you watch the video series, you see me go, because I didn't adjust it every time. I didn't realize it was getting lower every time. It's like that. Have you been to the Magic Castle? They have a trick there. Anyway. But it's like anything. The thing that makes the way that you make it in any profession is persistence. Watch the movie The Founder. Macklemore. The greats aren't great because the greats can paint. The greats are great because they paint a lot. I love that, right? Blues Clues. If you use your mind and take a step at a time, you can do anything that you want to do. It's like, it's everywhere. Those are the things. Like, that is the thing, is persistence. It doesn't even matter what it is. We trying to figure out how to do this online course. Believe me, there's been some major roadblocks where it's been like, we just kind of come back, come back. It's like, you just have to be persistent, and you have to go, okay, yeah, this might be hard, but I'll just keep trying. And if this way doesn't work, you try this way. And if that way doesn't work, you try that way. And I mean, it is amazing. And surround yourself with people that have that mindset. My best friend, She is the most singularly minded person. You think I'm like, she's like a freight train. She is amazing. And yet funny and sweet and generous and light. And she's one of the best examples, I tell this all the time, of mindset that I have in my life. She's amazing. And so it's like, you know, you surround yourself with people that are like that. Doug's the same way. That's why we're partners. He's very like, well, whatever, that didn't work, let's try that. And he's just so even keeled about it all. And so I really, if we can impart anything, that persistence thing, that is the thing. And that is the gold in just everything that we're doing here, is like just to be persistent. And I'm seeing it in the people that are enrolled in the course. They're starting out with like, I mean, this journey, whatever you want to call it, it goes literally from, are you a scam? Like it goes really from, this is not real, into people kind of learning how to get work. It's so cool. It's such a mindset shift, right? And we're loving that journey about it. So basically, you know, you all of these kind of come back to you controlling your little corner of the world. And like I said, there's a lot of noise out there and a lot of negativity. And so if you control your little corner, you know, we can't, I mean, one person can make a huge difference in solving the problems of the world, for sure. And all of these can apply if you want to be that guy. I mean, but for everyone here, if we control our corner and we do the best we can in trying to make this a better place, like, I know we're talking about reading, right? But it is kind of like, and we're seeing a lot of people that are new, because it's growing, that make these really like random things. Like someone posted like, who's going to protect the children? And I was like, me, I will, if the best I can. Like, I don't know what that has to do with reading, but count me in. So it is like, you know, I'm still not even sure what they're referring to in terms of this, but it is, it is like, you know, yeah, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Persistence. How do you take Broadway? Sorry. So anyway, that's the famous Betty Davis line when a young actress said, you know, can you give me some advice about how to navigate in Hollywood? And she said, take La Cienega, it's faster. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for mindset. And basically they all come back to the same thing. It's just letting go, you know, being the best that you can be in everything that you do, being persistent, being honest, being straightforward, being respectful, having courage, all of those things. Coming to the workshop. So it is like showing up. And that is, I mean, I have a friend, we were doing a workshop and someone said, you know, I actually was leading it, and I said, you know, give me some ideas, like what are the things that you have found have made a difference in your life? And someone raised their hand and said, showing up. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a huge one. Doug and I are working on this film project because we went to this event that neither one of us felt like going to, but we thought, okay, we're going to volunteer at this thing and we'll bring our script that we're working on and we'll brainstorm about that. So while we were there, we ended up meeting a producer and now we're doing a project. So it was like, because we showed up, you just never know what might happen. So because you're showing up here, who knows what might happen? Good things will happen. So we will be here tomorrow at noon, workshop. We'll put the link in the, you know, what do you call it? The feed, the lunch. And then join us on Wednesday. And then there's one on Saturday. And we'll be in here otherwise at noon every day this week. Cool. We'll see you mañana. All right. That's Spanish. Talk to you later. Hasta la vista, baby.